What makes you feel good? What floats your boat and makes your steps lighter? What puts a smile on your face without fail and make even your hump day blues disappear? Well, those are the kind of positive ideas we want to focus on because from this point on, it's good vibes only. On Good Vibes Only, we invite some good people into the studio to talk about good things only. That is, whatever makes us feel happy, whether it's foods, moods, hoods, or goods. And today's good person with the good vibes is radio and TV personality, author, and dad, Peter Bint.
Hello!
Hi, Peter!
Hey, how are you doing?
How are you? Thank you so much for joining Wonder Hours.
No, thank you for inviting me. I haven't seen you in a long time, and I guess some of the listeners, because I've never been on your show, have never seen me. So should I introduce myself?
Yes, please.
Okay, guys. Hello, everyone. I'm Peter Bint. I'm from London in the UK, but I'm half Korean, and I've been living here for about 15 years, working in TV and radio with Hyerim maybe 12 years ago.
Yeah, we go way back.
Yeah, on an English teaching thing, and then
when I was still starting as the Wonder Girls.
Yeah, you remember, right? And I was so starstruck. I had never had a celebrity in the studio. I'd worked with just English teachers and things like this, and I remember oh my God, it's a Wonder Girl! It's over there! And you were so nice. I was like, oh, it was really nice.
You were so kind to me.
No,
thank you.
I was terrible back then at hosting and things like that. So
2013, so that was
like
when
that.
I just began as a Wonder Girl. So I just still was a baby.
You were a little
18
baby.
Or 20 years old.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Now you're here hosting this show and I'm on the show. Thank you for inviting me. And yeah, like you said, I recently became an author. I've been a dad for a long time though as well.
I saw your clips on YouTube of how you were raising your children, and I really related to you. So I texted you actually.
Yes,
remember that?
Yes, I remember.
I was like, I sent you. Did I send you the link? I told you how much I 공감했어요.
Yes.
Totally related to
about
you.
the education system here and the
about
difficulties.
How you were trying to use English with your kids, but they were not.
It's so difficult
they
living
would just
in
keep
Korea.
using Korean with you.
Yeah, and so that problem, quote unquote, because their Korean's amazing, so I suppose it's a blessing in that sense. But yeah, their English is an issue at the moment, so we're really considering what to do. They should listen to this show every day, of course.
Are they still kind of,
My
they don't want to use it with you?
Has suddenly, recently got better. He goes to a certain hagwon, after school academy, where they read loads of books. And so that has really helped. So all of his friends now go to a hagwon, an academy where it's focused on test results. But we were like, we don't want him to do that.
Yeah.
So he's gone to this one, which he complains about going to, but his English has really improved. And he started just by choice talking to me in English. And I'm like, I want to say, oh my God, this is amazing. But if I say that, he's going to stop straight away. He's going to be like, oh, ane, you're ane. I'm not going to speak English. So that's got good. But my daughter, she's still vast majority speaking Korean to me. Yeah.
Well, I think there's a timing.
Yeah.
There's a time for it.
I hope so.
So
One
don't
day.
worry. And congratulations on your son.
Thank you.
So, and one more thing to congratulate you on. Congratulations on your book.
Oh, thank you.
So for our listeners who haven't heard about it yet, could you briefly tell us what your new book, 지극히 사적인 영국, is about?
Yeah, so I guess that means a deeply private UK. I always want to say England because in English, when I introduce myself, I say I'm from England. But in Korean, you say 영국에서 왔어요. And they're different things. 영국 is the UK. But Brits are very regional. And it's a bit odd. Even Americans often ask, what's the difference between the UK and England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland,
I
right?
want to know too.
And to be honest, most Brits can't explain it very well either. But we are 4 countries, but 1 country. So it's so confusing. The passport officially is United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Wow.
So Great Britain is England and Wales and Scotland, that big island that kind of looks like a rabbit. And then Northern Ireland is the separate island. And so this book kind of looks at that aspect as well, but it's a very personal experience of what being British is, how we really cling on to our local identity, England, and then even smaller than that, I'm a Londoner, and we're really kind of proud about that. And then how different it is to Korea. I think Korea and Britain are almost opposite in terms of like personality traits and things like this. Yeah. So it takes that kind of personal view of the UK.
I'm so curious to learn more about the UK. But so there have been many books about the UK, but you chose to focus specifically on ordinary working class life in England.
Yeah.
Why did you want to highlight that angle?
Well, to be honest, yeah, the subtitle says like a working class person's view of the UK. I didn't know that was going to be the subtitle until I saw the book cover and I was like, oh, okay.
Because so my
publisher, but yeah, my dad was in the army and not like a high-ranking officer or anything, totally working class. And through our conversations, because I did it with a ghostwriter, because it's all in Korean, so if I wanted to write that, that would have maybe taken me 150 years or something like that. So we did it through like 2-hour interviews every couple of weeks for more than a year. So it actually took longer than if I wrote it myself. But it was fun. It was fun to like just chat about the UK, and I would just babble on and he would take notes. And the main thing about this book is it kind of maybe dispels stereotypes about England, like, I don't know, the king and the queen, the royal family, British gentlemen, like Kingsman, the film.
We have a certain image about Britain, about the UK.
Yeah, and so whenever I get in a taxi here, as soon as they know you're a foreigner who speaks Korean, they'll ask where you're from, and I'll say Yeongguk, the UK, and they'll go, oh, gentlemen, 신사의 you know, and I'm not saying I'm not a gentleman, although sometimes I'm not, especially when I'm watching football. And I'm not saying no British men are not gentlemen, but there's a whole different side. And as a working class like kid growing up, yeah, it's the side of the UK that Koreans won't experience because, you know, what we think of the UK is what we were just saying, you know, the royal family, maybe you'll get as far.
That's what we see on media.
Yeah.
I've never been to the UK.
Yeah, oh really?
I would love to.
Yeah, so you spent a lot of time in Hong Kong, which is where I was born, because my dad was in the army and that was part of the UK at that time. And this book talks about that history as well. And then, yeah, the working class aspect is something that maybe if you don't visit, or even if you visit, you'll just see tourist spots. Unless you live there as someone from the working class, you won't experience. So I thought that would be interesting. And a lot of Koreans have read this and been like, I never knew that at all about the UK. All I was thinking was like, I don't know, Love Actually and About a Boy, those kind of British rom-coms.
Right. Or Notting Hill.
Yes, exactly. Not everyone is like Hugh Grant, though.
So writing about Britishness can be sensitive, I guess. So were you ever worried about how people back in the UK might react to your perspective?
This is a tough one because it's in Korean.
Or they can't read it.
No one can read it, but I am totally open with how I feel. And I always say it on broadcasts as well here in Korea. And I will talk about it in English too on some talks and lectures that I do. But I love the UK. Like, I miss it more than ever, to be honest. Now I've lived here for so long.
Do you think you might ever go back with
That
your
was
family?
always the plan for education, you know, because Korea is so competitive. And I'm honest about, you know, the negative aspects of Korea.
I'm curious about the education in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK, I went to a good school, but even so, I didn't have to study half as hard as my son, who's only just gone into middle school. And so I look at him and I'm like, you're at just a regular Korean school, but you're studying maybe 2-3 times as much as I ever did at a very decent state school. And so when I talk about Britishness, I love that the title, because this is a series, they've done like a deeply kind of personal or private Italy and Russia and France. And so that title kind of not gives you a free pass, but it explains this is my personal point of view. This is not saying all of the UK is like this, but from my perspective, this is what I felt. And like I said, I in the book maybe criticize certain aspects like, the UK is so slow at many things. Many things are very old and run down now because it developed so long ago. But despite that, I love it. I want to go back. And I hope that comes across through the book. I'm not sure if it does, because one Korean person told me, I read your book, and before it, I really wanted to go to the UK. Now, not so much. And I was like, no, that's not the aim of this book. I just want to give you the more balanced view. I don't want you to go there with a fairy tale image and then be disappointed. Because,
that's what we normally have.
Right? And maybe everyone has it. I think some tourists from abroad, people who are watching this show, are thinking Korea is just the dramas. You know, I heard some people say, I expected every Korean guy to look like the leads out of K-dramas. I was like, no, that is definitely not true. There are many handsome people here and beautiful people, but that's not everybody.
It's like fantasy. We have that 환상 of cultures and
Right. And so
countries.
I always think it's better to temper your expectations because, like when you watch a movie, if your expectations are too high, you'll always be disappointed.
Right.
So with the UK as well, if you think it's going to be like Prince William is going to propose to you, that's not going to happen. Just think realistically, and I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I hope.
So I've never been to the UK, but after reading your book,
Yeah.
I will have a better sense of.
I hope so.
country.
Yeah, and so the negative things, I try and tell you why they are not negative. Like, things are very slow there, and a lot of people just, in Korean you would say like 참고 살아. You just like endure things and live. Whereas Korea is so convenient and 빨리빨리, like quickly,
Yeah.
quickly. But I think to some extent, like learning to endure hardships and just get on with things, even if it's inconvenient, that's also part of life and a good like life lesson that you can't have everything straight away.
Right. By the way, I ordered your book before you came in.
Oh, thank you so much. My publisher will be so happy.
And the other book that about education,
Oh, well.
the English.
Is it 진짜 영국식 영어 or 3분 영어?
The 3분.
Ah,
I
wow, that's
bought
a
that
good
one
one with
too.
kids. Yeah.
Yes,
oh,
I'm
thank you so
excited.
much, Hyerim.
So, how did you feel when you finally got the finished copy in your hands?
Yes, like I said, it took more than a year of these like 2-hour sit downs every other week. And so it took a long time, like a lot longer than I expected. And so I was kind of relieved that it was finished. But then reading through it, like, it's a fairly long book. There are lots of photos in there as well. So even if you don't really like reading thick tomes, and because it's in my Korean, like the way it's written is how I speak Korean, it's not complicated. So as long as your Korean level is I'd say intermediate, you can read this book. But I realized you can't still, even though it's quite simply written, fit everything I said in there. So you have to cut out so much, right? I'm a massive football fan. I'm wearing my football team's jersey at the moment. There's like hardly anything about football in there. And I talked for ages about football. And so choosing what to put in and what not to put in, that must have been really tough for the ghostwriter. And then I kind of felt, I wish that was in and wish that was in. And I realized you can't have everything. So
Maybe you can have a part 2 of the book.
maybe if the reaction is good enough. And it's selling like steadily at the moment, perhaps. But I realized that through this book, yeah, it's the things maybe that you don't put in that's just as important as the things you do, maybe. Yeah.
All right, well, let's chat some more after a song break. So here is Common People by Pulp. We just heard Common People by Pulp. How did you like the song?
Oh, that's like from the 90s when I was growing up in the UK. It was Pulp.
right.
And I think the more famous ones in Korea, the bands like Oasis, who recently came and did a concert here, and then there was Blur. But Pulp were huge. This was that Britpop era. It makes me feel like a teenager. Again.
So
Thank
this
you.
song was for you because we normally play K-pop songs.
And I am a common person as well. I am working class common person.
That's what your book is about.
Yes.
So yes, let's take a look at some comments. Aim Lita says, "Yay, King Peter is here. Miss you."
Oh, lovely to see you. Because I used to be on KBS World on Brian Jew's show as a guest. And before that, I was DJ Angie for many years. For maybe, I want to say like 4 or 5 years. And then I left maybe about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now. So good to see the listeners again.
So
Yeah.
you must feel like you're at home, back at home.
Although this studio is way nicer than the one that we used to do.
Thank you. And Taipei Wern says he was one of my favorite DJ on K-pop Connection.
Aw.
Peter is really hilarious. I love listening to his banters with DJ Brian and DJ Angie.
Oh, yeah, it was fun, like talking about K-pop. We used to do some acting and stuff like that. My acting is terrible.
Acting. Oh, nice. When we did radio way back, it was. I was a regular Wednesday guest, and I talked about
on Wednesdays,
K-pop. It was
wasn't
on
it?
Wednesdays,
Yeah.
and I did lyric translation.
From like Korean to English and
to
stuff.
English,
Yeah,
yes.
that was good fun as well.
that was
Sometimes it
fun.
comes out really hilarious. Yeah.
Do you still catch up with Sun Kim 선생님?
So he doesn't do English broadcasting anymore.
I recently
right?
saw him on TV. I was so happy to see him.
Yeah. He's become a history expert now. And he's so in demand because he's a great storyteller. You remember he was really fun.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just used that in a different field. He's doing really well. I think I saw him about 6 months ago. He's exactly the same. same.
He's the same,
Yeah, he
just
hasn't aged.
with a little bit more white hair.
That's true. He doesn't dye his hair anymore, so he looks even
Very
more
natural.
I don't know, 멋있어, cool.
멋있어, yeah. He was the main MC, and I remember that he used to tell us that he would eat a lot of cup noodles.
Yes.
So I was just wondering if he still does that.
He does not have a healthy lifestyle. He still, I think, drinks quite a lot of the green bottle as well. But he's in good health, it looks like.
Miss him. And Sis Andriani says, haha, happy to see Peter right now.
Yay.
And Kitty Girl 1404 says, hello, Peter. Welcome to Wonder Hours. Nice to meet you here. Actually, I saw you on Return of Superman. Were you on the show?
I wish I was, but I was on a very similar show, which was called United Fathers, which was for foreign fathers only, but it was exactly the same concept. So you could be confused. If you see it on YouTube, you would just assume, oh, that's Return of Superman, because it was basically the same thing.
I see.
But I had my 2 kids, and I think, in that as well, it became an issue that my daughter didn't want to speak English, and I was trying to make her speak English.
Very relatable video. And I remember, now that you mentioned it, I remember that reality show.
Yeah.
And I remember the Chinese.
Yes,
Remember?
Li Jing.
Was it Li Jing?
Like he's now doing a lot of acting in China.
I think it was him.
And
He has a daughter.
Yeah, his daughter's really clever, and she loves to study. And her English is brilliant, actually, even though he doesn't speak English. So I was like, what is going
How
on
did
here?
he do it? Well, we should invite him to get some advice.
Yes.
And Leon Tio 1993 says he had a busy morning already. Did you?
I was at the Korea Stock Exchange this morning, which is in Yeouido. It's just down the road from
Close
here.
by.
Yeah, and I was doing something for a British company, the first ever British company to list on the KOSDAQ. And so I was hosting the event as they were signing the agreements, and I was amazed. The KOSDAQ is a big deal, but usually British companies obviously list in the UK. But it shows how the Korean financial market is like booming and doing very well. So I was very proud to do that. Yeah.
Whoa. Must have been like very important.
Yeah, I've never been there, and you were in the place where they had all the like stock prices going up and down on the boards behind you. I felt like some big
Only
trader.
see them on news.
Yeah, me too.
And so, questions for Peter. Honorary citizens are often seen as global ambassadors for Seoul and might be invited to city events, advisory roles, or promotional activities. So, how do you see yourself fulfilling or planning to fulfill that ambassadorial role going forward? And any particular areas like culture, media, expat, integration, tourism that you would like to focus on?
Oh, so yeah, I recently got the honor. I think I got the card in here. Yeah, this little thing, the 명예시민.
Golden card.
It's not actually gold, unfortunately. So like a Seoul honorary citizen thing. And yeah, it was wonderful, like, because I do a lot of broadcasting in English to foreigners all around the globe promoting Seoul. And so, yeah, as an ambassador, I don't think there's any set duties you have to do, but Seoul City will get in touch with you when they've got like discussions about how to maybe further enhance Seoul's reputation, maybe foreigner-led events and things like this. So if they ask me to do anything, I'll be more than happy, and I would love to, but I don't think there's like a set regular schedule for it. Yeah.
Wow.
And that card, it looks great, but I don't think it works as ID or anything.
Can you pay with it? What's the benefit? Like a 혜택?
Apparently, you can get into some Seoul-run facilities like the Seoul Botanical Garden or the Seoul History Museum.
No thanks.
I've been to a lot of those with my kids when I was younger. Anyway.
If you have children, you can get those benefits. 혜택.
I don't know if the kids get it as well, although they might get in free anyway. But as a parent, once your kids get a bit older, that's a wonderful place to go. Museums, you can spend all day there. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
I mean,
it's an honor.
My first time seeing this
card.
card.
I heard about it sometimes. I was like, how do people get it? And I was a bit jealous, to be honest, because I used to announce the winners. I'd be like, what has this guy done for Seoul? But as long as you keep trying and like trying to promote Seoul, one day, hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone who wants one can get one.
Yes, and you totally deserve it.
Oh, thank you.
All right, and going back to the topic, so you say Britishness is rooted in manners and shared norms. So do you think Koreans have an equivalent unspoken rule, something you only notice after living here long term?
I think for Koreans, manners are important here, of course. You know, like with 존댓말, the honorifics that you have to speak, right? That's really instilled upon you that you have to speak in a certain tone and manner to your seniors, teachers, parents, etc. But aside from that, something that's a bit different, and I think that maybe Brits lack a little bit, is like 눈치, right? That kind of reading the room. I think Koreans are amazing.
I don't think anyone can beat Koreans when it comes to 눈치.
And obviously everyone is different with how they can read a room. And there are some Koreans who are a bit slower on the uptake than other Koreans. But like the average Korean is just so good at catching that other person's emotions, like knowing maybe how they're thinking or feeling. What they do with that information is, again, different by person. Some people might be really empathetic and like give that person whatever they want. Other people might use it to their advantage. But I don't know what it is about growing up in Korea. But everyone I know is just so quick at that. And my wife as well, she'll know straight away. Like, I never lie, but if I were to lie, she would know straight away. And she'd be like, Peter, what are you doing? What have you done? And it's just amazing. Yeah, that is, I guess, something that's unwritten. Yeah.
I think when it comes to Korean society, when you're doing 사회생활 in Korea, you need that 눈치 and sense.
Yeah, don't you think that's the most important thing?
Two most important things.
Yeah, like I don't know about other fields of work, but broadcasting, if you have 눈치, if you can read the room, you can be successful, I think,
It's something that I had a hard time learning.
Yeah, because if we didn't grow up in Korea, we're at a disadvantage to all the Korean training that people here have had, I feel.
Yeah, if you want to learn 눈치 and sense, you just come to Korea and live here for a few years.
Yeah, just go in the deep end. Yeah.
I remember one time when I was working with the Wonder Girls members, we had lunch together, and then after that, I wasn't sure if anyone wanted ice cream, but I was craving it, so I ordered an ice cream for myself.
Okay, at the restaurant.
At a restaurant, as we were coming out. Because, sometimes they sell ice cream.
Okay.
I was holding my ice cream, like, no 고민 at all. And then one of my members looked at me and like, you only bought one?
Oh, no 눈치.
I'm like, oops, I didn't know you wanted one.
Oh, you didn't read the room. But yeah, that's totally normal
if you
for a
wanted
Westerner,
one, you
right?
Told. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've had to learn those things. Now I'm like, do you want an ice cream? Or just buy it?
I feel so like self-conscious if I've got a sweet that I want to eat, like a mint or something, but I've only got one. Because I feel like in Korea, you should ask everyone, do you want a mint? And so I'll do it secretly when no one's watching. Yeah, and if someone catches me,
and then
I feel guilty. Yeah.
What if they go, what are you eating?
Yeah, no, nothing, medicine.
All right, and the phrase manners makes men. Yes, became more familiar to us through the movie Kingsman, and you title a chapter, 매너가 영국인을 만든다. And so in your view, what are the main virtues of Britons?
Yeah, so with manners, with British people, it's different to Korean manners, like with honorifics and stuff. Of course, you need to speak politely, but
it's a high context language.
Yeah, and the main things you get taught as a kid in the UK are say please, say sorry, say thank you. Like that is drummed into you all the time. And if you don't say please when you're like asking for ice cream or something from your mum or dad, or thank you when you receive something, you might get a short, sharp like retort from your mum or dad, like nosy boy, like say please, say thank you. You're not getting dessert or something like that. So those things are important. And then the manners that I feel Korea used to not abide by, because they just weren't things here. But in the UK, like holding the door open for someone who's coming behind you, even if they're like quite far behind you in the UK. So it can be quite awkward for Koreans who are just in a rush and they just want to get through the door. But in the UK, if you kind of shut the door and someone is following behind you, you don't know that person, they're a stranger, but they still could feel like offended. Like how rude of you not opening the door.
So if you can see someone coming behind you, you would have to wait.
Yeah, maybe just hold it awkwardly. And that is
awkward. What if you're
awkward.
in a busy situation?
Exactly. And so I think Brits sometimes, to their own detriment, will be late for something just because of manners and that kind of social etiquette. But I think each country has that, maybe. Like, I don't know, in Korea, drinking manners are very different to the West. So if you grow up with them, it's kind of normal, but as a foreigner, it can be a bit of a shock. But yeah, I'd say, like, manners now dictate whether you are considered a certain class or maybe even a Brit itself, not like your skin color because it's so multicultural now, and not the way you speak, but more like how you act in those situations. People are like, oh, you're one of us kind of thing. Yeah.
See. So what is one very British manner or rule that would surprise Korean readers the most?
The holding doors open in Korea has gotten much better because I remember when I first came, like 2008 to live, I would literally be behind someone and they would just not hold it open. I would like,
Slam it
what
on
on
your
earth
face.
is this? But then I realised, oh, that's not rude. That's just how it's been here. But I think more and more people are doing that. And so that's a good one. And then it's old-fashioned, so I don't know if Korean people should do it or not do it. But like, pulling out a seat for a lady, for a guy. Like, I think there's still this old sense of being a real gentleman, especially on dates and stuff like that, which is totally not in line with 2025 and gender equality. But there's still, as a British gentleman or a British man, you feel you need to do certain things. Yeah.
Especially when you're out on a date.
Yeah.
At least when you're on a date.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
standing up for a lady when she enters the room and stuff like this.
What about slicing steak?
For a lady,
For a lady.
I think that is something different. Like in Korea, you would maybe do that, right? But I think in England, the girl would be like, you don't think I can cut my own steak? Like they might be not offended, but they'd be like, do you think I'm a baby? Like that's a bit different in Korea, right? You might do that or peel prawns for your like other half. In the UK, I think girls would be like, well, okay, that's caring, but I don't need that. Maybe.
But you can open your own door and you can
Exactly.
sit down on
so
yourself.
it's
This is
these
so
unwritten
difficult.
things, right? These social signals that are out there.
So
like,
much to learn.
Like, again, the opposite way. In Korea, when I first came, guys used to carry their girlfriends' handbags all the time, you know, big bags.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
It's kind of died out nowadays, right? You don't
Some
see
people,
it as much.
Yeah, not as much.
But in England, that would be totally weird. Like, you're not a gentleman for carrying a lady's bag. You're probably a thief. Like, whose bag is that? Why have you run off with someone's bag? So, yeah, it doesn't make sense, I think. A lot of etiquette and manners, yeah.
See? Wow, it's amazing how different cultures have different etiquettes and manners.
Yeah.
And there's just so much to learn.
The interesting thing about like 문화차이, cultural differences. I think that's the way to look at it. It's all really interesting. Nothing is right or wrong. It's just different. Yeah.
Right. And after more than a decade in Korea, what is one very British habit you still can't get rid of?
What is... I cannot have my Korean home really warm, which I feel is a Korean thing, like to turn up the thermostat, like in the winter especially, to like this time of year. Yeah, because we don't have nanbang in the UK, we have the radiators, and you don't turn them on to crazy... I'm saying they're crazy, but they're just Korean normal temperatures, like 23 degrees or something, 22 degrees. I don't know how hot you have, especially if you have young kids in Korea. Like a lot of mums will want to have it up to, you know, low mid-20s
Like
at least.
온돌 and 난방.
Yeah, and so I still have it pretty chilly in my house in the winter. And a lot of Korean people who come and visit, like, why is it so cold here? I'm like, it's winter time. In winter time, it's cold even in your house, okay? But a lot of Koreans will have like shorts and t-shirts on in the house, even in winter, you know, if they turn on the ondol to a certain extent. I'm like, I can't get used to that. Yeah. Winter, we're supposed to be cold.
Right. I feel you because it's like that in Hong Kong too.
Okay. Yeah.
No 난방 or 온돌.
Yeah.
All right, so Leon Teo 1993 requested a song, London Boy by Im Young-woo for King Peter.
Yay.
So let's take a listen. We just heard London Boy by Im Young-woo. So this was a song request, but also...
Me?
Yes.
Me and Liam were like telepathic, although it's quite a simple song request for someone from London, I suppose. A go-to one from K-pop.
It was my first time listening to the song.
I like it. It was like the soundtrack to some show that I was doing that was featuring London as well. I think Im Young-un, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's a bit of a football fan as well and a fan of London. So that's why he's got that track.
No wonder he sounds so happy in the song.
Yeah, London's cool.
All right, and if you're just tuning in, I'm joined by a former London boy, Peter Bint, for this week's Good Vibes Only. Let's take a look at some comments. LeonTeo1993 has a question. For many foreign residents or expats in Korea, navigating identity, belonging, and integration can be challenging. So given your background and new official status, what advice or insights would you like to offer them, especially those hoping to build long-term lives in Seoul or Korea?
Definitely learn the language. Like, if you're an English speaker, you can maybe survive more than ever in Korea without speaking Korean. Like, so many more Koreans speak decent levels of English. You've got apps and translations and the signs are in English. But if you speak Korean, it will give you a completely different experience here, right? I know a few half Korean people who were brought up in London like me, but they don't speak Korean. So whenever they've come to Korea, this isn't just now, this is from when they were young, they just don't have the same like 애정, the same like affection and love for the country because you just can't connect as deeply with people. And so even when people are talking about AI and us not needing to learn languages, I think it will always be different. If you can speak someone's mother tongue,
I
you
agree.
can definitely be closer with them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
so-
a whole different
Yeah.
level. It gets much deeper.
Yeah.
And another advice, like we previously mentioned, 눈치 and sense.
Learn to read the
That
room.
would be
But like Hyerim
important
said, that's
advice.
so difficult, and you just got to kind of go in at the deep end.
Right,
You'll
it's
be
not-
embarrassed many times. You
That's
make
right.
mistakes. It's okay.
It's not something you can learn on a textbook
No,
or a
no,
book.
no.
I don't know how you learn it. You just
No.
do
I
by
think
living with people.
By buying ice cream just for yourself. That's how you learn it.
That's right. I learned it I learned it the hard way. And another comment, Glory JSA says, Peter님, I've been enjoying your shows. Aside from Arsenal,
Arsenal's my team. That's my team. Yeah, my football team.
who do you think would do well this season? 방송 잘 보고 있어요. 아스널 제외하고 런던 연고지 팀 중 누가 성적 잘 나올 것 같나요?
Oh, well, as an Arsenal fan, I obviously hate all other London teams. Like, there's a real rivalry thing in British football. Like, it's as much about hating your rivals as loving your own team.
Kind
So
of like Korean baseball.
maybe, yeah. But even fiercer than that. Like, it's maybe more akin to Korea and Japan playing each other, right? That 한일전. And so I especially hate Tottenham, but luckily Son Heung-min has left Tottenham and now gone to LA, so I can badmouth them all I like. But apart from Arsenal, if I had to pick Chelsea are going to do quite well. They've got a very good squad. Yeah.
So I can feel your energy and how much you love.
Oh, we need to win. We need to win because my team, Arsenal, we haven't won the title in more than 20 years. So like half my life, we've been winless. Whereas the first half of my life, we won loads. And so I didn't know at that point, 20 years ago, we wouldn't win for this long. And so I feel really empty inside. I'm like, I'm missing something. Please, Arsenal, win. And we are first at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah, so come on.
I wish
come on.
you all the best.
Thank
Your
you.
team,
Yes.
Arsenal team. Waiting. All right, let's do a little fun segment.
Okay.
A quick this or that. I love these kinds of
Ooh.
like quick this and that.
Like
questions.
balance game kind of thing.
Balance game,
Okay.
so fun. So let's play a quick lightning round this or that, and I'll throw out two options, and you just have to pick one that feels right for you. And these are all inspired by your life between Britain and Korea. So let's see where your instincts take you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Number one, tea or coffee?
Got to be coffee. Sorry, Britain. We're a nation of tea, but coffee.
Are you a person?
No. As I've gotten older, I've got to be da'a, like a hot
da'a.
black coffee, because you can really taste it then. Yeah. And I still love tea, like with milk and sugar, but not as often as coffee.
I see. So coffee, me too. Number two, pub vs 포장마차, as in a cozy pub night or street food at a 포장마차. This is a hard one.
Maybe because absence makes the heart grow fonder, I'm going to say pub. Like, there are a couple of pubs in like Itaewon and other places, but they're not the same as the UK. And going to the pub to watch football, like we just talked about football, that is one of my favourite things to do in life. Yeah, so pub all the way.
Pub. And number three, fish and chips or fried chicken?
Oh. So for taste, yeah, I'll admit fried chicken probably is a bit better. Yeah, I'll say fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
Yeah.
Are you a 양념 person or
I like really crispy non-yangnyeom.
Me too.
But it has to be a certain brand's chicken. There's only a few brands that I like, yeah. The one actually that
Which one?
Jensen Huang famously went to recently with Lee Jae-young and the guy from Hyundai,
I see.
that brand was my favorite from when it started. So they chose the best place to go to.
nice. And number four, cheers mate vs 수고하셨습니다. Two phrases that say so much with so little. So which one closes more conversations in your life these days?
Of course, I say 수고하셨습니다 way more because I work with majority Koreans, but cheers, mate, is closer to what I feel inside. Because I feel 수고하셨습니다 kind of means, you know, you've done a hard job or you've done hard work. Many times, I don't think we really mean that when we say it in Korean. Like, maybe that person was slacking off, but we'll still say, like, 수고하셨습니다.
Yeah, it's like a routine, just a thing that you
It's just like
say.
goodbye almost,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like the meaning behind cheers, mate, is just a simple thanks. So I feel that I put more meaning into that. Yeah, should we say?
수고하셨습니다 is I was quite very. It was interesting to learn this new phrase when I first came to Korea.
Yeah,
'cause I've never used it.
And like 고생하셨어요 as well. Like 고생 is even more than 수고, right? It's like you've been through something really tough. Saying that was like, oh, so what should I do if they've done something tough? I should do something for them. But it's again just something you say because we're such a hard-working culture, maybe. Yeah.
And the last one. Sarcasm or 정. So British sarcasm is all about dry wit and subtle punchlines, while Korean 정 is that deep warmth and unspoken care that people show over time.
Oh my goodness.
So if you had to pick just one to live with every day, which one wins for you?
This is so different though. This is like saying, do you like ice cream or driving a car? Like, you can't compare these. But if I had to only live with one, like, 정 is that real warmth like you described. Sarcasm's great, and I love British sarcasm and having fun time with your friends. But without that warmth, I don't think I could live the rest of my life. So I'd have to go for 정. Yeah. Well, that's a really tough one, though. Yeah. That's cruel.
All right, and when you visit the UK now, after living in Korea for so long, what gives you the biggest reverse culture shock?
The reverse culture, like it starts as soon as you're in the airport. Like everything in Korea is so, as well as being fast and convenient, it's so kind of polished. Like everything is so professional.
In
like,
Korea.
You go to the department store and you've got these people to greet you and say 안녕하세요, and they're all dressed really smartly, and all the employees everywhere just seem on point, like they know what they're doing. In England, from the airport, there's a real, I don't want to say that in a negative way, but it's not as professional, right? People are just, you can tell this is their job, and most people don't want to be doing it. Like you can see it on their faces.
Kind of like in the States?
Yeah, exactly. So Korea is, I think, the exception. There aren't many countries where everything feels so polished and professional. And maybe it is just 겉으로, like the outside thing, but as a consumer or customer, it makes you feel kind of like in a really like clean cut setting. But the UK, like the positive side of that is you feel like you could relate to these people. You can see that guy, he doesn't want to be there. And you could imagine in your job, you don't want to be there. And so sometimes you just strike up conversations, you'd just be like, oh, the weather's really terrible today, and then these are things that don't happen in Korea so much because you've got your roles.
We don't do small talks.
No. So I feel that as soon as I get to the UK. And first, I'm taken aback, and then I'm like, oh, this is nice. Yeah.
I'm sure there are many. Right?
Oh, there are loads. Like, as soon as I get to my accommodation, and I've just said earlier in this segment that I keep my Korean apartment cold, but it's still quite warm because you've got the person below you turning on the underfloor heating, and that actually comes up.
Right.
So when I go into UK accommodation and it's just like this house that is freezing, I'm like, no, this is too cold. Like then I'm like, I feel a bit Korean. I need some ondo, like not a lot, but just a little bit of underfloor heating, please. Yeah.
And you're also a father of 2 children, and so am I now. And you wrote about the differences in raising children in Korea and Britain. Were you surprised at Korean parenting norms when you first encountered them? I'm so curious.
Well, my mum is Korean, and so I encountered them from when I was growing up. And I remember my mum pushing me quite hard to study. And none of my other English friends' mums pushed them at all. Like, it was like, it's your life, so if you want to study, you study. If you don't want to study, that's on you.
Wow.
And that was from quite a young age, right? You just see your kids as fairly independent, right? And so I used to think, oh, I hate my mum being so strict, and I cried a couple of times saying, Mum, like, leave me alone.
Aww.
And she would say, why haven't you got a commendation or some kind of recognition from the school when my friends got it and I didn't? And I was like, this is horrible. But I also now appreciate, because I did go to a good school and I went to a decent university because my mum pushed me in that direction. And to be honest, that's why I've got a lot of opportunities in later life. So I think somewhere in between, like British and Korean parenting is probably the soft spot. Like, don't push too much, but don't let your kids do everything they want because maybe they don't know what's best for them at that young age. Yeah.
parenting sounds quite different from the UK
Oh, it
and
is.
Korea.
Again, that's like opposite, I feel. Like in the UK, it's like you make your own decisions as quickly as possible. In Korea, it's like I'll guide you. I'll put you into all these hagwons and you just study hard and you'll go to a good university and then you go and live your kind of adult life, I feel. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so it's already time to listen to a song.
Oh.
Let's take a listen to LDN by Lily Allen. We just heard LDN by Lily Allen. That was a very good song.
She is a fellow Brit, I think a Londoner as well. And yeah, LDN is like our shortening of London. Yeah, thank you for playing all these London-related tracks.
It's just for you. And after living in Korea and writing this wonderful book, what does Britishness mean to you now?
I don't know if I thought about it as much when I was living in Britain. You know, I lived and grew up there for, a quarter of a century until I was like 25. But I think for all people who live in a foreign country, and Korea's not completely foreign because I'm half Korean, but, you know, I've only got a British passport and I only lived permanently in the UK until that point. As soon as you go outside your home country, you look at your home country in a completely different light, I feel. It's a little bit like if someone criticizes your, I don't know, family member or your girlfriend or boyfriend, you're like, you can't say that. Like, I can say that. I can criticize and I can think that, but you can't say that. So when I came to England, maybe I got a bit more patriotic about England. And I do remember when I was growing up in the UK and I come to Korea in the summertime, I go back and my friends would be like, what did you do in the summer? And I say, I went to Korea. And they wouldn't have any idea because it was not Hallyu, it was not K-culture everywhere. They would maybe say, I don't know where that is. And I felt that was a little disrespectful. And then they might even say things like, oh, you mean North Korea? And I'd be like, no. And then they talk about eating dogs because that was a thing that was in the news in the 90s. And I had to really kind of fight back against that. And I felt so bad them saying that. And so, yeah, I think Britishness as well is something I've only considered more living here. And yeah, we've talked about it already, but it's kind of just living that British way of things are slow, things are maybe not perfect, but that's okay. I feel like in Korea, we're all kind of wanting things to be more perfect.
And
like
fast.
even like education as well. We want things to be 100%, like 백점 we talk about. No one gets 백점 in the UK. Like getting 100% in a test is so rare. And it's not even the aim really. Like you're just aiming to kind of get by, maybe 70, 80% or something like that. And so I feel that is Britishness, like that sense of life and then also the manners, and that all comes together, hopefully in a harmonious way. But I would admit, Britain is not perfect, and you know, Brexit and things like this have been really difficult for the country. But yeah, I miss British sensibilities, because in Korea, like I said, it's very opposite, I feel, in very good ways as well. Yeah.
Sometimes when it's not perfect, it makes it more beautiful.
Yeah,
and
real.
More real.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes we kind of miss that.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be perfect.
No, yeah. If you live somewhere where a lot of things are perfect, you feel like you need to kind of keep up with that as well.
right.
Yeah, I feel like I always need to get my hair cut in Korea. I'm like, if it's a bit messy, I'm like, oh no, no one's got messy hair. Like, I need to cut it.
Everything's so polished.
Yeah.
Well, would you ever consider writing something like 지극히 사적인 한국 in English?
I wish someone would ask me to do that, because to be honest, I am not good with long projects like writing books or running like a YouTube channel. Like one-off things, like coming on the show and stuff like that, I really love doing, but I'm not good at planning long term. So unless someone puts a carrot in front of me and says, I'll pay you to write this book, I'm not going to write it. But I would love to talk about career from my perspective. Again, a very personal look. And I think Koreans would find it interesting as well, because it's not the same as a Korean's perspective, but people who are so interested in K-culture these days, there's so many people,
I think
listeners
that's a
included.
really good idea, and we would love to hear your
I think
perspective.
people would love to hear your perspective as well, right? Like
Perspective.
anyone who's lived here as maybe in some way an outsider would have an interesting look, I feel. Yeah,
Or maybe we should do like a half-half.
A collabo.
Like a collabo book.
I like it,
A
yeah.
Hong Kong
Yes!
writing about K
Yeah,
culture.
and because I was born in Hong Kong, maybe I could mention something about Hong Kong.
That's
I don't know what.
right. We have a new collaboration.
Perfect.
And Siska and Riani says, do you have chong with your listeners, Peter?
Of course.
Of course.
Siska and I, in fact, go back to maybe, I want to say like 2013. So as long as we go back, actually.
That's right.
She used to tune in to the show that we were on.
Did you?
Even though that is mainly just for Korean listeners in Korea. That's how dedicated she was. And so for listeners that I see often on chats, and that's why I encourage lots of listeners to be interactive. Otherwise, of course, it's fine to just be a passive listener, and that's the majority. But then your host or DJ cannot put like a name to a listener. As soon as they see a username and some chat on a regular basis, like you build up some kind of image inside.
Right.
And then that's how Jong kind of forms. Because I can't imagine the silent listener who's in their car in, I don't know, Italy right now, right? Because they're not chatting back. But the ones that are chatting on here, I like put all that into a story in my mind.
And we have a report.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
All right, it's already time to let you go.
Oh, it's been so fun. Thank you so much for having me.
So thank you so much for coming and for sharing your good vibes with us today. We're going to say goodbye to Peter and also close the show with the best of both worlds. It's My Universe by Coldplay and BTS. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Hyerim with producers Christina Saw and Kwon Chae-ryung and writer Liz. Have a wonderful day and see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.